time, watch this.
Did you know that sugar, when you eat it, a donut, Pop-Tart, piece of bread, doesn't matter, Kool-Aid, Dr. Pepper, did you know that when you swallow sugar, they have known for 70 years that it goes inside your bone marrow and it suppresses within 45 minutes your body's ability to produce white blood cells that fight infections like bacteria, yeast, viruses, funguses, and parasites. Did you know that it literally shuts off your immune system and makes you more susceptible to all viruses, all infections? And did you know that they compared sugar to prednisone? Prednisone is a steroid. And do you know that its job is to suppress your immune system? In fact, it's called an immune system suppressant.
Yes.
Did you know that sugar suppresses your immune system more than prednisone does? So if you're trying to fight an infection, if you're worried about the bird flu in the future, and I find out you're eating donuts and Pop-Tarts and cereal in the morning.
Now, this is crazy work. Remember when they were tempting us with that ching-ching and tempting you with free donut, free French fries, free this, free that? This is why I have my clients eat less than 5 grams of sugar per meal. I keep them on a very, very low sugar diet because, guys, sugar, not only is it horrible for us, but it's highly inflammatory. It wreaks havoc on the tissues, on sleep, on your immune system, on cognitive function. Almost every system of the body is completely compromised by having too much sugar present in the blood. So I can't say this enough. If you're worried and fearful about your health and diseases and all this crap that they keep manufacturing in the world, the number one thing that you need to do, effective immediately outside of exercise, is get sugar out of your diet now. Want to know why everybody's so sick all the time? Watch this.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakah Kodash. Double honor unto the apostles and the elders of the great millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect, beginning with the 144,000 men. Back with another lesson. Today's lesson will be called Avoid Sugar. It's poison. Alright, avoid sugar, it's poison. You just heard the video there. Alright, you know, we heard it from the apostles too. Alright, going into the health. Your health is your wealth. Alright, your health is your wealth. And you know, your body is the temple of the Lord. Alright, this is what houses the Spirit, and the Holy Spirit dwells within us. Alright, and the Lord, you know, you always have to remember that the Lord said, you know, he that destroyed the temple, him the Lord will destroy. Alright, these things, you know, have to stick with you, especially now. We're heading into a time where this devil is going to come down with great wrath. Alright, according to the Holy Scripture. Alright, we all know it. Go to Revelation 12 and 12. Alright. It says, what therefore rejoice ye heavens, those in rulership, and ye that dwell in them, these Edomites, primarily. It says, woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth he had but a short time. And this video is not to be taken lightly. Alright, because with all the enchantments that this devil is bringing, alright, in terms of the you know, the new world order plan, the infrastructure that he's put inside of your bodies. Alright, those of you who went out there and played the Squid Game, took the 3-point jump shot, alright, you know the Crown Vic Royale and whatnot, you know, they put stuff into it. Alright, and then they're gonna bring what? They're about to bring the plagues, the pestilence. And these things are about to come upon the earth. Alright, and a lot of people, based on what they did, in bypassing the immune system and whatnot, a lot of people are going to be dropping like flies. Alright, one of the main things, you know, bear with me a moment. Right, so you know the devil is really coming down. Alright, you know, and he's about to hit hard. Alright, and all the habits he been setting up with our people gradually, you know, eating all this Pop-Tart cereal in the morning, all that bullshit. Alright, basically, you know, hey, you know, he coming with it. Right, he coming basically, you know, he planned all this. Got Jake waxed up on sugar, Jake obese, men, women, children. Alright, a lot of children have type 1 diabetes, type 2, alright, all of that shit. This is what this devil has done. Alright, and he, you know, he's still pushing it. He's pushing these sugary foods, you know, down your throat, practically. They're the cheapest thing. Alright, they're the cheapest thing. They're easy to get. Alright, you know. Hell. You know, hey, Esau Edom is a devil. Right? Esau Edom is a devil. That's what it boils down to. And he's been telling you that these things fortified with this and fortified with iron. A lot of these things that complement his system, because your body is going to become a node, all right, an antenna in this new world order. This is the fourth industrial revolution, this new world order. That's where it basically goes into. And he's about to bring his plagues down on the earth. So those who have these kind of habits, all right, you mightn't make it. Okay? That's just how real it is. You mightn't make it. Let me go here. Let's go to the Apocrypha. The book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 16. We start at verse 19. It says, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish, right? Famine and plague. Those plagues, those pestilence, they're coming. You heard some of them already. All right? Are sent as scourges for amendment. All right? But for all those things, they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. Okay? Behold, victual shall be so good, cheap upon earth. And a lot of these victuals, the food extra is corrupted. All right? Full of sugars. You just check the label, you're going to see. All right? It said that's why it's cheap. They want you to eat those stuff. It says that they know Jake don't have the money to buy the healthier stuff for the most part. All right? It says that they shall think themselves to be in good case, and even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. All right? So it's going to be a lot of debt coming down the pipeline here. All right? And all this science and the bullshit that Jake lap up. Because Jake ain't the wisest and the sharpest, knife in the drawer. All right, Jake be lapping this up, hook, line, and sinker. All right, so what they are bashing me shy for this truth. This is 1 Timothy 6 and verse 20. It says, O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust. Avoid profane and vain babblings and oppositions of science. False, you so-called, all this science, which just means to know. It's been lying, all right? Everything been turned upside down, all right? They having you Jakes believe a lot of bullshit, all right? Basically destroying yourself, all right? They're turning food against you, basically, all right? Turning food against you, and we could go to, when we go to the Salakia, let me go to the Apocrypha, when you go into the book of Sirach, the 39th chapter. It's bullshit here. Let's bear out my moment here. Yeah, when they go to Sirach, the 39th chapter, all right, and the just get 39 and the 26th verse. It says the principal things for the whole use of man's life are water, fire, iron, and salt, flour of wheat, honey, milk, and the blood of the grape, and oil and clothing. Now notice it didn't say anything about sugar. Alright? Now note that. Alright? Because you have some of these things that they call here have natural sugars. Honey, milk, the blood of the grape, which is grapes, and the flour of wheat. Alright? But those are natural sugars. These sugars that they add in here is basically glucose. Alright? Which overloads the pancreas. It causes insulin resistance. All this bullshit, So this is what they're about. They said these things are important for life. Right? Verse 27 says, all these things are good to the godly, so to the sinners they are turned to evil. Right? Because at the end of the day, it's not only that, certain foods are abominable, but certain foods, they're definitely not good for you. Alright? They are traps. Right? They are snared by the evil one. Because they know how your body operates. So the guy said that, they knew for 70 years, right, that sugar goes straight to your bone marrow when you take it. Alright? For 70 years they knew that, yet they've been pushing all these sugary foods on you, right? It says the blood, it says, in fact, what I was saying is that the blood, right, the blood is made in the bone marrow. Alright? So when you push all that sugar in your system, guess what's happening to you? As the guy was saying, it causes mass inflammation in your body. Alright? It overloads your blood. Okay, within 45 minutes, it shuts off your immune system, and all viruses, bacteria, fungi, etc., could play itself in your body, and that's why people are so sick. And fair use this video is only for educational purposes only. All right, I'm not giving any medical advice. All right, but we're speaking facts here. All right, so that's why people are weak, and they want to have weak people. That's part of the order to cause this great depopulation agenda that they have. All right, because this thing affects a lot of things. It causes diabetes, everything. Right, it's hell. Let's go here. An AI overview. It says, what are the effects of sugar on the pineal gland? It says, while modern medicine does not directly link sugar to the physical calcification or structural damage to the pineal gland, right? Because why? The science is false. That's why the modern science, all right, is false. It says excessive sugar consumption causes systematic inflammation and hormonal disruption that can impair the gland's ability to produce melatonin and regulate your sleep-wake cycles. But wait a minute, your sleep-wake cycles are important for everything. All right, the guy was talking about your tissues regeneration, your immune system, your cognitive function, all these things. All right, it says how sugar disrupts pineal function, melatonin suppression, diets high in added sugars trigger insulin resistance and chronic inflammation throughout the body. This hormonal chaos can desensitize your internal clock and suppress the pineal gland's natural nighttime melatonin production, leading to poor sleep quality, so your body doesn't heal properly. All right? Circadian rhythm disruption. The pineal gland relies on environmental cues like darkness and a stable hormonal environment to function. Sugar crashes and high glycemic spikes confuse metabolic signaling, interfering with the body's natural circadian rhythm. So your metabolism going to be shot. You're going to get big, huge, obese. This is why so much of these jakes so big and obese, especially our women. When you go to Isaiah, the 3rd chapter, it goes into that. All right? It says the pineal glucose loop. The pineal gland and the hormone melatonin play a surprisingly important regulatory role in glucose homeostasis and insulin sensitivity. Disrupting this cycle with high sugar intake can create a feedback loop that further stresses the gland. All right, and then they go into the spiritual aspect of it. All right, it says in holistic and spiritual practices, which is a main key. Don't get twisted. Esau knows about these things. All right, it says in many holistic and spiritual practices, the pineal gland is referred to as the third eye. Within these communities, it is commonly believed that overconsumption of processed foods, refined sugars, and toxins and sugar is a toxin. All right, we're gonna see that. I have a little part of a clip of a movie queued up. All right, we're gonna show you that one movie, The Hunt, where they had the elites who were hunting the regular Jake who were talking about them on social media, and they went into it. Right, they're showing it right in front of your face. Right, revelation of the method, how they're destroying you, how they're poisoning Jake. All right, it says it is commonly believed that overconsumption of processed foods, refined sugars, and toxins can inhibit its energetic function and dull your intuition. All right, so you just destroy, basically, when you eat like that, these sugary foods, all this white bread, and then I'll be consuming. We need to stop these things, because at the end of the day, we disrupting the connection between us and the Heavenly Father. All right, basically destroying ourselves. All right, it's basically destroying ourselves. So that's what it is. Let's hit a couple precepts. All right, let's get the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 11. It says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices, his evil schemes. This is an evil scheme. Check your Coke that you're drinking, and all. Check your Sprite. Check all these things, right? You can't be drinking those things regularly. It's gonna fuck you up. All right, and that's just putting it nicely. Okay, this is Job 13 verse 4. It says, but ye are forgers of lies, ye are all physicians of no value. These Edomites, they are physicians of no value. They lie, right? And they know their target is Jake the poor. Okay, Proverbs 12 and 19, it reads, the lip of truth shall be established forever, but a lying tongue is but for a moment. Deceit is in the heart of them that imagine evil, but to the counselors of peace is joy. There shall no evil happen to the just, but the wicked shall be filled with mischief. Lying lips are abomination to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, but they that deal truly are his delight. So they're going to pay for all this wickedness that have been waiting in the earth, especially to our people. Right? This is 2nd Esdras chapter 6 and verse 27. All right? Because the Lord is revealing the truth all now. Everything is coming out. This is 2nd Esdras 6 and 27. For evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. As for faith, it shall flourish. And part of the apparatus, the physical apparatus in the body that deals with faith is your pineal gland. And you can see, we just read how this thing affects it. All right? But as for faith, it shall flourish, because the elect is going to take heed and try to adjust their diet to suit. At least eat well 80% of the time. All right? Corruption shall be overcome, and the truth, which had been so long without fruit, right, shall be declared. Imagine the amount of people they put under the ground with this bullshit. All right? This is what it's about. But they can't hide the truth forever. Now everything is coming out. All right? And this is the end of these devils and the shenanigans. All right? This is Luke 8 and verse 17. It says what? For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad. So you devils, you all are through. All right? You all are through. So let me just leave you with this clip of this video here. I pray this lesson was edifying. Till the next time, Shalom, Wa Harag Babal.
You gonna be ready, or do you need us to slow her down?
We're good.
No need. We're ready.
Great. She's unarmed, so have some fun with it.
Roger that. Over and out. Honey, that's poison!
You rigged the soda?
No. There are 43 grams of sugar in that bottle.
Oh, good God, Miranda, you're really scared
I'm
me.
not going to apologize for caring.